What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So what we have here is what happened to every WWE wrestler fired on their day off in 2023. Where are they now? Now, before I get into the video, I want to say salute to every wrestler that made this list, because it is not easy to make it in the wrestling industry. It's even harder to be successful, and it's extremely hard to make it to WWE, regardless if you like the wrestler or you don't. A lot of aspiring wrestlers want to make it to WWE, and unfortunately, all of them can't step foot in the ring. Now, I'm not saying that not going to WWE means that your career is a failure, because people can be successful in any other promotion, but I'm saying this to say that this is a big feather in all these wrestlers' cap that they were able to make it to that milestone. Now, before I get started, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this.
2023 has been a highly successful year for WWE. The company's delivering sold-out shows all over the world, and 2023 was finally the year in which the company was finally sold. Despite the company delivering record numbers, they've still made the controversial decision to release several names over the course of the year. The reasons for these cuts vary, but
My guy Boogs
usually come down to budget cuts. Join us now as WrestleLamia looks at every WWE wrestler released in 2023. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new website, WrestleLamia.com. Number 15, Naomi.
Knockouts champion Naomi.
2022 was when Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of WWE, never to return again. In relation to Banks, it's believed that she was officially released in 2022, whereas Naomi was confirmed to be released in 2023. Naomi has had great success since leaving WWE, and she's become the face of the TNA Knockouts division, and fans of Naomi are still holding on to hope that one day that the former WWE Women's Champion will return to WWE to settle any unfinished business. Number 14.
Let's go back to that. Now, remember, I did a whole video telling you guys when she left WWE, regardless how you feel about it, everybody has their own opinions. That's a whole different conversation for a different day. I told you guys in the video that when she got signed to Impact, that eventually she was going to be the Knockout champion. Nobody believed me. Now that she's the Knockout champion, let me know if you guys watch Impact, because I do. I just don't make content for it. But now that she's the champion, I think she's in a great place, you know, the place that she needs to be in. I know a lot of people who are fans of her want her to come back to WWE, but I think right now is a perfect time for her to hold a title, you know, get a little bit better in the ring, get a little bit better on the mic. Not saying that she's bad, but it's a great way for her to develop, and maybe she should wrestle around the world a little bit and get her reputation up so she can be a hot commodity to getting signed back to WWE. And if she ever does return back to WWE, she needs to do it after. If Sasha Banks comes back, she needs to do it after, because if she comes back before Sasha, people are not going to be able to appreciate who she is. They're going to use her as a opportunity to talk about, oh, since Naomi is back, that means Sasha Banks is going to be back at some point, and they won't focus on her. So that's just my opinion on that. Let me know what you guys think.
To hope that one day that the former WWE Women's Champion will return to WWE to settle any unfinished business.
Yeah.
Number 14, Matt Riddle. Former US Champion Matt Riddle had a highly successful run on the main roster. Riddle was often thrown into the main event.
You got a match coming up in MLW, don't you?
Bro was some of the finest work of his entire career. Unfortunately for Riddle, his questionable behavior outside the ring eventually led to his WWE release in September, which, whilst frustrating, it was understandable why WWE made the difficult decision to let him go. After making various appearances for signings, Riddle now has his first match in MLW versus Jacob Fatu. Number 13.
Hey, really quick, guys, I don't stop this a lot, but hey, speaking of Jacob Fatu, if you watch his interviews, if you see him wrestle or do any promos, think of Beast Mode, the running back who used to play for the Seattle Seahawks. If you ever want to see a wrestler version of him, Jacob Fatu is that guy. They got the same exact, cadence. I know they both from LA. They got the same spirit, everything like that. So check him out, man.
Dana Brooke. Although Dana Brooke never reached the top of the women's division, she was considered to be one of the friendliest people in the locker room. Brooke was liked by everyone, and a release would have no doubt upset a lot of people backstage in WWE. Interestingly, Brooke was heavily involved on NXT TV before her release, which meant that NXT had to rework their shows now that Brooke was gone. Following her release, she took to Twitter to post a lengthy statement, and it was filled with class and grace, and it was easy to work out why Brooke was so popular within the WWE bubble. Brooke has yet to have wrestled a match since WWE, but is still active on social media. Number 12, Lacey Evans. Former WWE star Lacey Evans was given countless opportunities to succeed in WWE. She would work featured programs with the top female talents in the company, yet her in-ring work was always holding her back. Evans had an odd relationship with the fans, as she would often post controversial comments on her social media pages, which didn't exactly portray her as the nicest human in the world. Nevertheless, Evans claims that she requested her WWE release, yet it remains unclear if she's planning on continuing to wrestle in another promotion such as AEW or TNA. Lacey Evans recently opened a cafe, so it might be clear that she's put wrestling behind her.
Okay, so with Lacey Evans, real quick guys, she's doing more than opening up a cafe shop. You've been on her Instagram, you see what she does, but that's a whole different conversation for a different day. Now, she is one of the few women that I was surprised got pulled up to the main roster, because when she was in NXT, I didn't see anything like in the ring or anything like that. So for me, I was like, you know what, since they moved her up to the main roster, they're WWE, maybe they know something about her that I don't know. Maybe they saw something in the performance center or something about this gimmick they got prepared for her. Maybe they got something big for her. I'll wait and see, because she got to NXT and got shot up like not even months. I think it was like months later, maybe even half a year. And then when she got to the main roster, they gave her so many different gimmicks, bro. We got more gimmicks for her than we got renditions of Batman and Spider-Man combined. And I'm just joking, but even then, it didn't produce anything. So I was just I'm still trying to figure out what they saw. Not saying that she's a bad wrestler, but I'm trying to see what they saw. And I don't know if they would sign her to a TNA or a AEW unless they got something really good for her. But at this point, I don't know.
Lacey Evans recently opened a cafe, so it might be clear that she's put wrestling behind her. Number 11, Emma. From the night Emma returned to WWE, it was obvious that WWE had no concrete plans for her. Emma returned in a huge match against Ronda Rousey, yet following this, Emma virtually disappeared from WWE TV.
Yeah, why did they bring her back?
It's hard to recall if Emma had a single meaningful storyline during her second stint, and WWE completely wasted a competent female star who could have been an excellent addition to the women's division.
I agree.
Emma is currently in the process of releasing a travel show with her real-life husband Riddick Moss. She's been very active on social media to push it. Number 10, Riddick Moss.
Speaking of Moss.
Riddick Moss was given a substantial push in the year before his WWE release. Moss was heavily pushed as a babyface in the feud with Baron Corbin, and Moss even defeated the credible Corbin several times. The problem was that Moss had no concrete character or gimmick, so the fans were barely reacting to anything he did. WWE ultimately decided to turn him heel, yet this did little to improve his connection with the audience. A Moss like Emma is still active on social media and is also pushing for the new travel show. Number 9, Top Dollar.
Oh,
WWE decided to release
What is he
Top
doing?
Dollar basically ended the run of Hit Row for the second time. Whilst Dollar wasn't exactly Bryan Danielson in the ring, he was decent on the mic and he had a great presence on social media. In fact, Top Dollar even revealed that he was going to have a planned match with Michael Cole.
What?
All the bad mouthing that Cole did on commentary was actually going to lead to a match. Top Dollar recently appeared in front of a live audience at Game Changer Wrestling. It's unknown if he has signed with the promotion, but Dollar has also dropped some new music on X. Number 8, Shanky. Shanky is mostly known for his short-lived gimmick of him dancing.
Forgot about him.
This gimmick was well received, yet Shanky certainly had improvements that needed to be made in terms of his in-ring work. His WWE release seemed rather abrupt, as a 7-foot-tall star could have certainly benefited from more development down in NXT. Share Shanky hasn't been up to much since his WWE release, however there should be some great things in store for the big giant. Number 7, Aaliyah. WWE deciding to release Aaliyah was a questionable decision, as they had put considerable effort into trying to get her over with the audience. WWE would book her in newsworthy moments and matches, such as the time she attained a 3-second win over Natalya, and she would even have a reign as one half of the women's tag team champions. Fightful Select would discuss her release, and a reputable source would report that she was hardly ever brought to TV tapings and was never factored into any creative for the women's division. Aaliyah was a name that many in WWE expected to be on the list. She'd been signed with the company since 2015 and she was drafted to SmackDown in 2021 but barely used. She became a tag team champion but had not wrestled on or off television once in over a year since losing the titles. We were told that she was rarely if ever brought to TV and was not factored in creatively. Now it's currently unclear where Aaliyah will end up after a WWE release, however she has retweeted her old videos on the indie scene to suggest that she will be wrestling soon again. Number 6.
That's the thing, because she's another one kind of like Lacey Evans, but I feel like Aaliyah's a better wrestler in ring than Lacey Evans. But I feel like Aaliyah, just like I felt about Lacey Evans when they were in NXT, I felt like Aaliyah was a little bit too green to move up to the main roster, and when I saw that she got drafted, I was like, oh, this might not be good for her. Like, it would have been better for her to spend more time at NXT and for them to develop her a little bit more as opposed to shooting her up to the top. Because NXT is supposed to be the developmental, the promotion, right? But it don't feel like they did that. I feel like they just shot her up. Now, although she did have success by having the tag titles, at the same time, I don't think she was ready for anything up there, which is the reason I feel like they kept her off of television for that very reason. But I think she has a better chance of getting signed than Lacey Evans, so we'll see what happens.
Maximum male models. In the weeks and months that have followed Mansoor and Mace's
they just
WWE
debuted
release,
somewhere too.
It became apparent just how charismatic and likable the two truly are. Although their WWE careers didn't turn out how they expected, they still had a ton to offer, as their Twitch streams are unbelievably funny. Mansoor had an interesting WWE tenure as he was often used for Saudi shows, yet his role in Maximum Male Models alongside Mace was rather underrated, and Mansoor played his role very well. In relation to Mace, he portrayed several roles in the company, including a commentary stint on Raw, and similarly to his tag team partner, Mace did his absolute best in the role that WWE gave him. Now the duo actually appeared at Deadlock Pro Wrestling, which was surprising as their 90-day non-compete clause hadn't finished and they had 9 more days left until they can debut or sign with any company. Number 5.
Although they're entertaining, they if things would have went the way that they went, they could have been known as the group that almost ruined LA Knight's career by keeping them as Max Dupree. Like that could be what people are calling them.
Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs' pairing with Shinsuke Nakamura was a definitive highlight of Boogs' WWE tenure. Yet when he tore his quad at WrestleMania 38, this drastically changed the trajectory of his career. When Boogs returned in 2023, the magic was lost, and although Boogs was getting decent reactions from the audience, they struggled on where to place him on the card. Boogs would claim that politics was the reason for his release, and he has yet to go into detail on what he's specifically referring to, yet this may come further down the line. Boogs has now removed that beautiful mustache, looking incredibly different than his WWE days. Boogs continues to maintain his physique by weightlifting and is very active on social media. Number 4. Mustafa Ali. One of the top matches on the 2023 NXT No Mercy card was to see Dominic Mysterio vs Mustafa Ali. This was set to be for the NXT North American title, yet shortly before the event, WWE announced that Ali had been released from the company. It was heavily reported that Ali had been seeking his release for a considerable length of time, yet to release him just before a major title match seemed nonsensical. According to reports, this caused problems for NXT's creative team, and it was even reported by Fightful Select that Ali was going to win the North American title for the first time.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were going to do.
The was going to look a whole lot different before the WWE releases. Trick Williams is a new NXT North American champion after defeating Dominic Mysterio at NXT No Mercy, however, that wasn't the original plan. There were some incorrect reports stating that Dominic was originally scheduled to retain over Mustafa Ali. Actually, Mustafa Ali was supposed to win the North American Championship prior to his release.
That's why I don't listen to reports, man.
NXT higher-ups stated that they were frustrated by the call to cut him. Mustafa Ali is now embarking on a world tour. He teased his next steps with this X-post.
Tonight I stand before you a free man. A man no longer affiliated with this global party. And now I can finally bring forth a proposal that will turn all of our problems into possibilities.
Game Changer Wrestling has also booked Ali in a match against Gringo Loco on 19th January. But not only that, he'll be wrestling in various Canadian promotions. Number 3.
Nice. You know what? With Mustafa Ali, you kind of just knew that they didn't want to do anything with him, just the way they was treating him. And when he went down to NXT, when he was walking down through the audience, you can see that he was so depressed all over his face. And he'd been trying to push his way out for a long, long time. But I'm kind of disappointed in WWE because I still think about the Mustafa Ali that I saw in 205 Live, having those classic matches there. And I'm going to one of his shows on this tour. I don't know which one it is. It might be the one in Ohio when he goes against Myron Reed, because I like Myron Reed. I've been a fan of his for a long time. Or his match. I think he's having a match against Gresham. I believe is it whichever one he got in Chicago. I think that's the one I might go to. But anyways, let's continue.
Shelton Benjamin.
I gotta support the Chicago wrestlers, guys.
Intercontinental Champion Shelton Benjamin has a gold standard reputation as a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Benjamin remains as an elite performer, and there was rampant disappointment when Benjamin was released. Whilst Benjamin is incredibly talented, they could never commit to a substantial storyline for him. His work as part of the Hurt Business was outstanding, yet after it concluded, he was just consistently relegated to main event. Benjamin took to Twitter following his release, and as always, he showed nothing but class and respect. I've been released from my WWE contract. I thank WWE staff, talent, and of course the fans for everything. Something ends, something new begins. Looking forward to my next chapter. Shelton is now looking forward to what his next steps will be. He's currently not booked with any promotion, but it surely won't take long for a gold standard such as himself to get a booking. Number 2.
Yeah, dude, I wish they wouldn't have let him go, because I at least wanted to see a match between him and Chad Gable. I think that would have been a great match. Just like a passing of the torch type of thing. I don't know, just for me, just for my fan service. But I can see him being like a trainer or someone working in some type of performance center or some developmental promotion or something like that. But yeah.
Elias deserved a ton of credit for managing to get what is
I wasn't a big Elias fan.
Over with the audience. His drifted gimmick at one point was one of the most over-heel characters on the show, and even his stint as Ezekiel was incredibly entertaining. His WWE release didn't exactly come as a surprise, as Elias was in creative limbo with the WWE creative team, and following his release, the man himself took to Twitter to reflect on his WWE tenure in a rather heartfelt post. From drifting onto the scene, to WrestleMania with John Cena and The Undertaker, to millions around the world for years walking with Elias, a #1 iTunes album, and to be my own younger brother Zeke while traveling the world, it's been a blast. God is good. And since his release, Elias has been totally MIA. No updates to his profile or any bookings at all. And #1, Dolph Ziggler. When WWE announced that Dolph Ziggler was released in September, fans were stunned. Ziggler was one of the most popular and consistently good WWE wrestlers of the past 15 years, and it seemed like a bizarre decision to release a former 2-time world champion. In recent years, Ziggler has struggled to find a prominent role on TV, and this was especially the case during the Triple H era of WWE, as Ziggler was often used as a decorated enhancement guy for stars such as Omos. When they confirmed the news regarding Ziggler, wrestlers from both WWE and AEW came together to talk about how great he was, both in the ring and behind the scenes. In relation to why WWE made the decision to cut Ziggler, Fightful Select reported that Ziggler had already been ready to leave WWE years ago. Yeah. Among them is Dolph Ziggler, who was actually ready to leave WWE years ago, but got talked into staying with the company. Those that we spoke to this week said that originally his WWE deal was set to extend into next summer. Whatever avenue Ziggler goes down next, whether that be wrestling in a new promotion or continuing with his comedy gigs, Ziggler will no doubt shine in his next chapter. Dolph is one of the hottest free agents in the world right now. He's rumored to be joining his brother in AEW, and currently he has a match in the Puerto Rican wrestling promotion World Wrestling Council. There have also been rumors that he is behind the devil gimmick in AEW.
What?
There you have it, folks. Every WWE wrestler,
he might be the devil. That would be crazy, but that would be great for him. I think the thing is with Dolph Ziggler, when he got released, I wasn't as shocked as everyone else, because I felt like now that the way that these promotions are working and people moving to different promotions and things like that, I feel like there's certain wrestlers that once they hit the cap of what they can do in WWE, or WWE isn't offering them anything else, they might as well just move into another promotion and just hit the reset button and then start something new somewhere else. So I feel like even with Edge moving to AEW or Dolph possibly moving to AEW, whatever the case may be, I feel like that's the best case scenario for most of these people. Like, you know, as a fan, of course, you will want them to stay in WWE, but I feel like that's kind of selfish to keep them somewhere that doesn't have anything left for them to do, or where they already, you know, ran, you know, empty on their tank as far as what they can do there. So once you accomplish everything here, just go move somewhere else. Do the Chris Jericho thing. But anyways, let me know which one was the most disappointing release on this list. I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Salute, peace.